Roughly 40 miles from here, over in Pikeville, Kentucky, comes a story so tragic and terrifying it persisted for over 130 years. The young, beautiful Octavia Hatcher married James Hatcher, a wealthy businessman from a prominent family, in 1890. Just a year later, she gave birth to their first child, Jacob, when she was just 20 years old. Sadly, as was common in those days, baby Jacob died shortly after birth. The loss of this beloved son caused poor Octavia to fall into a deep depression. She withered from her grief and finally became ill roughly 6 months after the loss of her son and died. Or so they thought. See, this particular summer was very hot when Octavia supposedly passed away, and she was buried rather quickly due to the fear of decomposition and the spread of disease. Not long after her death, there was a rash of swooning sickness that took over the residents of Pikeville. Several residents appeared to drop dead only to come to hours later. The realization and fear of what could have happened to poor Octavia caused the family to dig her up. Allegedly, they found a terrifying sight. They say her fingernails were torn off, the lining of the casket threaded, and the lovely young face contorted. There are those that claim that this is just a myth, but what we do know is that Octavia's loving husband developed a fear of being buried alive. He was so terrified that he purchased a safety casket. A safety casket is a device for burying your dead that had an escape hatch and a way to alert those above ground that you were still alive inside. He displayed the casket he intended to one day occupy in his hotel lobby. Just a year after the death of his bride, James paid for a perfect likeness of her to be carved in marble and placed on her grave, looking down at the city of Pikeville. The unique and detailed grave marker still stands today. For many years, her sculpture would turn away from the city on the anniversary of her death. Some say to turn her back on the city that buried her alive.